This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Hello, this is The Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. All right, so feedback is greatly important. Feel free to reach out to me either through email, Substack, X, and of course fill up the comments on YouTube. It'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, so some of the audio platforms that I'm on, Speaker, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, just to name a few. Now, this song is all about Mariah Carey's vision of love. And I'm going to give my perspective. Personally, I'm going to talk about my aspects of what I think about music from the 90s, particularly pop music and female pop sound of female pop music at that time. And then also talk about the facts of the song and everything. All right, here we go. Okay, so here is the AI generated version of Vision of Love. Okay, so it says Vision of Love is a song by Mariah Carey, and it was released as her debut single on May 5th of 1990. It was written by Carey and Ben Margigules and produced by Ray Lawrence and Walden. The song showcased with Carey's wide received universal acclaim, which this is intact to her high octave range. Now I'm adding this in. So it topped the singles and charts in Canada, New Zealand, and the U.S., where it spent 4 weeks at number one on the Billboard Hot 100 and 2 weeks at number one on the Hot R&B/hip hop song charts. The lyrics of Vision of Love has been interpreted as a autobiographical piece reflecting Carey's personal struggles and her belief in finding true love despite adversity. The song's success marked the beginning of Carey's successful career as a top-selling female artist of the 90s. That 90s sound. She embodied that. And I'm going to go in, of course, to my thoughts about everything after this. So Vision of Love has been credited with popularizing the use of melomism in contemporary popular music as inspiration, which inspired several artists to pursue a music career. It was performed on numerous television and award shows, ceremonies, including the Arsenio Hall Show, Good Morning America, Saturday Night Live, and the 33rd Annual Grammy Awards. In 2012, Chris Allen released a song entitled The Vision of Love, which was his first single from his second studio album entitled Thank You, Camilla. The song is different from Mariah Carey's Vision of Love and was released as a CD single, digital download, and a hot AC radio. So, Vision of Love by Mariah Carey was also performed live at various events, including her MTV Unplugged performance in 1992, which showcased her vocal prose and emotional depth. Okay, so I'm going to go into my thoughts. Here we go. Okay. All right, so, it depends on if you grew up or not, whatever perspective that you have. I think particularly all eras have an air about them. So what do I mean by this? So particularly here we go with the 90s. There was the epitome of the female voice, the time of that. And so we had ranges of different vocal sounds too, particularly in the R&B arena and pop and so forth. And so they were overall art of telling a story about the aspects of their position about love. For instance, the song, if you want me, say it. If you need me. See, that's all about the positions within, say what you mean and mean what you say. And that's a very, mature concept or approach about the aspects of what you want in a relationship, because that goes a long way. For instance, there's really something to be said when you're in a relationship with somebody you just do not want to be with, because it changes the whole compass it changes the whole aspect of how you move and how you feel about the rest of your life going forward. And so if you're spending your life with somebody you can't stand, you don't give a crap about, you don't have their disposition about everything else. And it's one of those things that interweave itself to where is it really worth it? So, in the beginning of the relationship, you make those, or a relationship or not, or budding of a relationship, whatever the hell, you make the stand of saying, where are we going? So that song was really good about that. So with Mariah Carey coming in the scene with the aspects of female voices, she really literally broke the glass, per se, about her aspects, her perspectives of love. Now, that also, I didn't mention this, but also it's rumored that this song links to the aspects of her personal life, and then which is, it goes on to talk about how not too long after she marries this man that was a record executive, head mucky mucker in the music industry, and their relationship didn't work out. She divorced him and she moved on, and that so forth changed the atmosphere about the type of image Mariah Carey had going along forth. But she really is, I said this before, but she really is the quintessential example and understanding of your voice can really, singing, music can really speak volumes other than what words can just not simply say. And the way that she was able to train herself and I don't know. It's just something you're born with that you can't train. You either got it, you don't with that. So the vocal ranges, the octave ranges that she just over excelled is phenomenal. To where you're whether you want to or not, you're forced to listen and understand the emotional turmoil, the relief, or the longing, and the joy, and all of these different arrangements of emotions when it comes to love. And then her image that she had with the generic, you're not really, ethnicity, you're not really sure where she came from, and then the aspects of her, the type of clothing that she was wearing, and then how that evolved throughout her career. I think that really set the staple for other pop artists in the way that things are of today. Ariana Grande can be a prime example of that, the way that she looks, her stance, her clothing, etc. Her sound, too. All right, so with all this said, my thoughts aren't gonna be all that long. I'm gonna get into more facts about this song and go from there. Here we go. All right, so here is more facts about the details of the song, of it making, releasing, and so forth. So its release album was in 1990. It charted 9 in the UK and 1 in the US, rightfully so. So it was released on May 15th of 1990. Vision of Love was Mariah Carey's first single. The song debuted at 73 in America, but 2 months later in August, it spent 4 weeks at the #1 spot. The orchestral ballad showcased Carey's outrageous vocal range, and the video provided a great look at the singer with lots of close-ups. So again, with the aspects of the 90s, it's really vamping up that aspect of storytelling and how that is sort of a PR product placement for the label, for the artist, and so forth. It generated a mystique. So, for instance, Meatloaf's I can do it, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. So, it's a climax of saying you're waiting, anticipating, waiting, flat. It doesn't really say. So, but it uses this overall movie star power storytelling of saying what it possibly could be. And that's something to, consider too. And I think that sort of cinematic dynamic was a lot of focal point, a big focal point in Mariah Carey's music videos too. So that helped, also added to the mystique of her character. Excuse me. And so, getting back to it, mistake of your character, what does that mean? So, I don't know. It's one of those things that I'm just calling it for what it is. Some artists, they say that this is how they really are, as far as their music, the way they represent themselves musically. But I don't know. It's one of those things. There's an on and off switch with that. And sometimes is who they are is amplified, and then who they are is lessened. It's just one of those things. And so that's why I said that. All right, so Carey built off the song's success and became the top-selling female artist of the 90s. 17-year-old Mariah Carey was working as a waitress to support her budding music career when she met the song's co-writer Ben Margules. She needed a keyboard player for a recording session of a different song, and although he was mainly a drummer, Margules offered his services. So the pair hit it off, and they started writing songs together. Margules also played drums on this track. And Velez won the 1990 Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Performance. Female, that is. Well, duh, right? So Carey also won the Best New Artist Grammy for that year. A far better choice. So they talk about, okay, Milli Vanilli. They make a reference to this in song facts. So it's one of those things where, I don't know. That was bad, what happened with Milli Vanilli, but they got a bad, that. It's one of those weird things. It's, it's like weird, the elephant in the room, so to speak, with that cliche. You can't deny that there are some mishaps. You could say slip of the hands. You could say with touching up, with the aspects of, the artists that can't hit the right ranges that they want to, or that pretty much, doing a thing where they don't have the talent as is perceived, or the PR appeal is perceived to be about it. Case in point, Taylor Swift. And so there's a diehard Taylor Swift fans out there and so forth. Now, I'm focusing on Taylor Swift, and there's other artists, but I'm focusing in on her specifically because she has a lot to do with the aspects of breakups. Particularly her arena is this sad arrested development sort of mentality of I never can get a man, and I don't know why. Kind of bullcrap. But case in point, when she was newly beginning in her career, she did a duet with Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks blew her out of the water, and everybody was like, oh, well, that doesn't really mean anything because Stevie Nicks isn't really irrelevant anymore, so who cares? You cannot say anything bad about Swift. So it's like, okay, does she really have that much talent if she can't even harmonize with a legend like Stevie Nicks? Now, on the other side, it's like, oh, okay, because, Stevie Nicks is a powerhouse in herself, and some seasonal singers might, but you can still see the difference between someone that has talent versus someone that doesn't. And it was clear that wasn't the case for Taylor Swift. So, I don't know. It's one of those things with Milli Vanilli. You got to let that go. So, the album sold over 17 million copies around the world, including 3 other U.S. #1 singles, Love Takes Time, Someday, and I Don't Want to Cry. A different version was included on Mariah Carey's demo tape for Columbia and was one of the songs that caught the ear of Tommy Mottola. This is who I'm talking about, the Mucky Muck, the music producer, what have you, Mucky Muck, of the CBS Records label. So, more importantly, it was ahead of the label, as I was saying, CBS Records. At the time, Mariah was working as a backup singer for Brenda K. Starr, who invited her to a label party in Manhattan, where the demo tape made its way into Mottola's hands. After listening to a part of the tape in his limo on the way home, Mottola went back to the party to track down the singer. But she had already left, and no one knew who she was. Days later, Mariah found a message on her answering machine inviting her to sign with the label. Mottola sent her to Los Angeles to re-record Vision of Love with producers Nardia Michael Walden and Ray Lawrence. Ray Lawrence. So Lawrence, who described the original tempo was as a 50s sort of shuffle, changed it to a contemporary slow dance tempo and used Mariah's demo vocals as a second vocal in the last section of the song. The image of Mariah sitting on a tree, swinging and cradling a cat in the music video was taken directly from a childhood memory. When the singer was in third grade, she and her mother, see, this goes again with the mystique of the artist, lived with her mother's boyfriend on an estate where he was a gardener. So Mariah, who was already bullied for being biracial, was picked on by the wealthier kids at a school for being poor. So this, again, mystique. This seems like not. So this is something that was written in a studio, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, I don't know. Normal people don't really do stuff like this. And, you know, it's unfortunate when it does happen in these occasions, when those occasions where stuff like this does happen. But I don't know. It's kind of, I think it's just one of those things you got to read between the lines and say, is this really something that happened, or this was something that's amped up from something that was more subtle that happened in her life? And it, you know, you got to do that thing with nudge the ratings here, if you know what I mean by what they do with reality TV. They kind of make dull people more interesting by invoking that, either controlled or uncontrolled, whatever the case may be. But it just seems not genuine here. But it's quite interesting. So, again, you know, I think this puts in the realm of adding up the rapport about the musical artist here. All right, so in 1991, with an interview with Ebony Magazine, Mariah explained how the lyrics reflected her success in overcoming the hardship of a difficult childhood. So, all right, so this was also this was used on the MTV's animated series Daria, episode where Death Takes a Holiday. I recall that. And also, Mariah sung this on October 27, 1990, a Saturday Night Live episode, which is case in point with Patrick Swayze, God rest his soul. So it's quite interesting. Shouting that out to Peacock, y'all. And, you know, the Lauren Markles, whoever decided that. So, you know, Peacock has the library of SNL. And so with this particular episode was when, if I'm not mistaken, where they have that scene with Patrick Swayze and the Chippendale dancers, Chippendale's tryouts, and it's taken out. Can you believe that's crazy? It's like, are you really wanting to go back and censor what was already set to go with an agenda about what's relevant, what's seemed to be relevant today with the aspects of body positivity? I don't know, it's weird. And also the aspects, if you're gonna do it with having SNL on there, because it's all about the music. And so it's one of those things where it's more expensive to put the artist on there after the fact of it being aired when it's being streamed on different devices and seeing them perform, because that's kind of a letdown too, because you know, you're watching and you're wanting to see that performance again. You can't see it in a streaming aspect of it because it's edited out forever for whatever reason it is. The music label is too expensive to get the royalties from it for it to air it, or so forth. And then when it gets into that back and forth legality, that's really important because it takes away from the driving force about the show. So that's something to add on to the aspects here about SNL. But I would have liked to see the live performance of it. I saw clips, but, it's not the same as actually watching it, So in 1992, Mariah Carey performed this part of her MTV Unplugged special, which led to its inclusion on the accompanied live EP. All right, so I am going to go into the aspects of the song's meaning here. All right, so all right, here we go. Says that the long road to love's embrace. So when excuse me, sorry y'all. So when Mariah Carey sings "It Took So Long," still I believe, she is articulating the universal struggle of finding true love amidst life's tribulations. The song's protagonist speaks to the heart of anyone who has ever felt adrift in their search for connection, suggesting that patience is not just a virtue, but a path to love's sweet destiny. This feeling of preservation resonates with listeners, providing a musical aspect that uplifts even the weariest of hearts. So the expression of this journey suggests that I think they're saying once we seek is also seeking us. A comforting and romantic notion that what's meant for us will find its way. See, there are aspects of her vocal range and them interpreting this, helps to amplify the aspects of the meaning of the song. So, our voice heals alienation. So Mariah Carey comes across as not just a vocalist, but a siren for the solitude soul when she perfectly encapsulates the pain of isolation in the lines. Siren. See, that's a funny and interesting thing when how words change their meaning over time. So originally sirens, hey, they're not the best example of being comforting. And what I mean by this is they sing sweet melodies in order to inevitably get man to crash or fall to their deaths. So it's something to how that's a bit ironic, the irony in that. Or it can be told as unfortunate circumstances. But the fable of it is quite interesting. How that siren changes its aspects over time. Yeah. So the song therefore becomes an anthem for the alienated, suggestion through its soulful crescendos that the weight of loneliness is a temporary state on which can be transcended through belief in oneself and the future. All right, so I'm going to end with this saying this. So memorable lines that echo in the heart. So you treated me kind, sweet destiny, are the memorable lines that are tied to capturing the essence of vision of love, according to the source. So the words articulate a profound sense of gratitude for both the love received and the serendipitous path that has led to it. Carrie's serene expression of thanks highlights not only the joy of finding love, but also the transformation journey towards it. These lines resonate a soulful appreciation of love's arrival, sealing vision of love in the hearts of listeners as an eternal ode to life's most sought after connection. So I'm going to end on this by saying these things. All right, so some people believe that things are destined, things are fate. Some people believe that life is just a random ball and we're just here traveling. In the midst of all that's a lot of divine inspiration or spirituality in it if you wanted to lead yourself into that direction. So what do I mean by this? Okay, so free will. So the aspects of free will is given to those who believe. And so that goes into a lot of paths of the directions that people take. And so within these free will, if you believe spiritually, then the mistakes that you make will you will be uplifted by God's grace. And then within that gives you the re-understanding of his love for you and moves you into the path of the right direction when you fall and make mistakes. Now, translating this into the situation of romantic love and so forth, and the aspects of that, it's one of those things where you got to look at it for what it is. Is that, some things, it's beyond our control. It might be destined, it might be not. But the aspects of free will gives a lot of urgency, I think, to make the decisions or not make the decisions of how you want to live. And a lot of times, when we're coming, now I'm focusing in on the aspects of romantic and relationships, developing or not developing. There really is a lot on the person because it says a lot without even the person expressing it. It says a lot about their kind of character and what they actually want or what they don't want. And so if it doesn't end up the way that they're what they're looking for, it also goes to I think the aspects of reevaluating of what's it really is love really important to them or not. And so that goes along the lines of humbling yourself. And then when you get into the path of humbling yourself, you really find out here what kind of partner or what kind of love relationship, what kind of relationship, whether they be, courting and then leading to marriage and so forth. And then, what you want. It just, it boils down to that a lot of times too. And so when you finally find it, all the hiccups and hang-ups and all the setbacks and then moving forward and then 2 steps behind and then moving forward again and finally finding the one, it's really reassuring because it encompasses, it's reassuring. What I mean by that, not encompassing, but what I mean by that reassurance is that all of the heartache and the pain and the hard work that you put forth with trying to be happy, trying to find someone to share your life with, it wasn't in vain, simply said. So, there are also, on the other hand, the people who are perpetually single, so to speak, that says, to me, and that might not be the case, whatever it is, okay? I'm just speaking from my opinion here. Also says, are you really okay with that? Is that truly what you want? Or are you just going along with what society you're saying you should do? Or are you going along with your family and friends say you should do? There's something to process too in that aspect. With all this said, I'd like to know your thoughts about the aspect of female voices from the 90s, particularly pop, love music from the 90s and so forth. Feel free to reach out to me, and all those sources will be provided for you in this episode. Okay, so this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care. Bye-bye for now.